Alright, so this morning I'm listening to another piano cadenza that Alfred Schnittke wrote for a Mozart piano concerto. This one is for concerto number 24 in C minor. Um, it's scored for, well, the concerto is scored for 1-2-2-2, 2-2-0-0 timpani and strings, which is large for a Mozart concerto. It was written in 1786, but published in 1800. And it's one of two piano concerti that Mozart wrote in a minor key. Early admirers of this concerto include Beethoven and Brahms. Musicologist Arthur Hutchings declared it to be taken as a whole Mozart's greatest piano concerto. So I have the score pulled up here. I just downloaded this from my MSLP. And I have this recording by Rudolf Buchbinder. Um, and then I also have this recording of the different Schnittke cadenzas. So the way it's going to work is I'm just going to have three links in the video description so you can follow along. You can play this, pause at the cadenza, play this, and then click the third link to follow at the end of the cadenza in this performance. And yeah, if you want more information about the composer Alfred Schnittke, I recommend these episodes where I've covered his work, title card here, and yeah, I will let you know what I think about this one. It should be fun. Okay, I forgot to mention I'm only listening to the first movement today, and also um, I'm not going to be talking much about the concerto. I'm more focused on Schnittke's cadenza for the purposes of this um, listening session. So I think Schnittke has a like we looked at concerto number 21 yesterday, and the cadenza that Schnittke wrote for that one. And that one was more typical, like the cadenza happens like maybe 10 measures before the end, and it's sort of like just has to cadence as very normal. This one, there's actually quite a bit of music after the cadenza, and also the cadenza has to go from this area of like relatively little energy to this kind of Sturm und Drang thing that the strings do immediately thereafter. So Schnittke has like slightly less liberty in how to begin and end this cadenza. So he has to end it fast, which he does, and I like how he falls down to the lowest C on the piano. It's kind of cool. Um, there's a lot of beautiful moments in this cadenza, and it's on the longer side. And it starts really interestingly, right? He takes this sort of slow energy and slows it down even further, and just focuses on this chromatic line. Um, and the theme really lends itself well to this sort of imitative two-part writing that Schnittke plays with for a while. Probably the most beautiful moment for me was he lands on the tonic. So he brings this idea back of just dotted halves slowly descending chromatically over like a G pedal and then over a C pedal, and it's kind of crazy how long the C pedal goes on because it's like the tonic. And yeah, and then I think he uses that moment here to just bring the main theme back in C minor, and it's very plain. But I think for a cadenza, it's a very interesting moment, right? To just have all this sequential stuff for 3 or 4 minutes and then bring the theme back and spend a lot of time on it and then start ramping up to the end of the cadenza. It's kind of an interesting plan, I would say, and it's very effective. Again, it's like the cadenza we looked at yesterday. It's not like totally inappropriate for performance, but the composer like Schnittke shines through a little bit more than the Mozart inspiration. Like there's a couple moments here where the range of the piano gets inappropriately low or inappropriately high, like this section here. And also you get chords and harmonies that are kind of foreign to the musical language of Mozart. But it's not like he's completely ignoring the themes. And I think it would be smart to program this alongside like more of Schnitke's work, right? So say you had Schnitke's Concerto Grossi or something on a concert, and then you also had a Mozart concerto with a Schnittke cadenza. I think that would be a really fun way of incorporating Schnitke's music into a concert. There's this sort of fetishization of the West, I think, that is very like it's a through line in Schnittke's music, and this is sort of like these cadenzas are very expected of, you know, what the composer is already doing, because he famously quoted a lot of classical music in his pieces, and also like did a lot of pastiche and parody and all kinds of things. So, um, yeah, that was Cadenzan for or cadenzas for two piano concerti by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. If you haven't listened or if you haven't watched the previous episode, I highly encourage you to do that and go through that listening session because the two of these make kind of an interesting pair. I think this one, the number 20, the KV 467, is a little bit more out there and playful. Um, and the other one, the one we looked at today, is a little bit more serious.